Hello everyone! Today we are going to tell you about the resource gathering and item crafting systems in Corepunk. That means we're talking professions. So, Corepunk has 4 crafting professions and 4 resource gathering professions. First, let's talk about the basic principles of how professions work, and then a little bit about each of them individually.
Talk about the good stuff.
When practicing any type of profession, the player receives experience not only to develop their skill in that profession, but also to level up the hero. Each profession in the game has 3 mastery levels. By increasing the mastery level, the player receives a new title. At level 1, you're a beginner. At level 2, you are advanced. And finally, at level 3, you become a master.
Damn it!
How are you?
I'm here on my first field assignment. I consider myself really lucky. Other guys from my course had to go to the salty lakes or the fiery fields. Ugh.
What is this place?
Oh, I thought you were local. This is a backwater village. Took me a day and a half to get here from the capital.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm from Lethana. I'm a novice observer. If you ever get a chance, you should definitely visit Lethana. Damn it. Sorry. Oh, hello there.
What happened?
Well, it's... I'm not really supposed to share any information with laymen.
Okay.
Wait, I would really appreciate your help, though. Well, all right, but only because it's a dire situation. I'm an apprentice at the Lethana University, a junior observer. I was supposed to study the behavioral patterns of the Naticus prolificus, or gnats, as you village people call them. I put tracking devices on young gnats, and now I have their behavioral patterns, but I do not have the tracking devices. They cost a fortune for our department. I never thought these gnats would be so intimidating in real life. Oh gosh, if I mess up, the master censor will definitely send me on an expedition to the fiery fields. So yes, here I am, asking a layman for help. It'd mean everything to me if you killed these gnats and got the tracking devices back from them.
I'm gonna do it.
Really? Great! But if you meet any other observers or censors, don't tell them about our little agreement.
Bulldozer.
Hello. You know you're doing a good thing. Have you got all of them?
No.
Oh, that's fine. I'm not pressing you. Just take your time. But know that I will be kicked out of university if I don't bring the trackers back.
Bulldozer.
In terms of game design, we are not always advocates of rigid distinctions. More often than not, we favor mechanics where there is a choice, and that choice has both positive and negative consequences. The player can practice all kinds of gathering and crafting professions by gathering and crafting most of the items in the game. But players can only gather the rarest resources and craft the best items if they focus on one gathering profession and one crafting profession. To do this, in addition to the mastery levels mechanic, every profession in the game also has its own efficiency. What's efficiency? Well, profession efficiency increases as you practice that profession,
I need to get...
but your efficiency in the other professions decreases. Simply put, the more you practice the same profession, the more effective you are at it. Just as the 4 gathering professions have a shared efficiency, so do the 4 crafting professions as well.
Have a good feeling about this. Getting me steps up.
So, when gathering resources, the efficiency only increases if you gather a resource corresponding to the level of that profession. You are thus rewarded for gathering resources that are challenging to your character at that time. Let's review a short example. If you pay attention to the icons of the gathering professions to the left, you will see their efficiency around the icons. Let's cut the tree down.
Whoa, talk about the good stuff.
This improved efficiency decreases if you use another gathering profession. So, once again, specializing is key. As for crafting, its efficiency will only increase if the player crafts an item whose gear score is high enough relative to their profession level. Excellent. Please note how the efficiency has changed. Logging has risen, while herbalism efficiency has dropped. Efficiency decreases for the profession that has not been used the longest. It is important to note that the higher the mastery level and efficiency of the profession, the more difficult it will be for the player to switch professions, since the player will have to gather rarer resources and craft higher level items to increase their efficiency. Assuming that the player's goal is maximum efficiency for the chosen profession, it will be hardest to do after you reach your hero's level cap in the endgame. The player receives various bonuses and perks for mastery levels and increasing efficiency. Let's talk about the resource gathering professions first: mining, logging, herbalism, and butchery. For example, when it comes to the gathering professions, as the mastery levels up, opportunities to mine higher level veins get unlocked. The overall chance of finding a resource increases, and there are additional gathering sessions for gathering a resource. Meanwhile, efficiency can affect the chance of receiving a rarer resource, or can reduce the chance of failure. The process of gathering in the game is quite simple and intuitive. The player needs to find something worthy and start gathering a resource.
What do we have here?
An interface bar will appear at the bottom of the screen, displaying the process. While the bar is moving, the player has a chance of receiving one of the resources. There can be a wide variety of resources in a single spot, from the most common to very rare. When you find a resource, you receive a corresponding pleasant notification. You never know how lucky you might be, or unlucky. The player might find nothing. It happens. But even if you manage to find a resource, don't relax just yet. There is always a small chance of failing and losing your loot. Yes, that happens too.
going for a mosey.
Mining has 3 tiers of veins: metal, polymetal, and ancient. With an increase in the tier of the vein, the chance of getting more resources increases. For example, you can get not 1 ore, but 2 at once, and even more from the vein of the 3rd tier. The rarer the resource, the higher the vein required to mine it. Epic resources can only be mined from tier 3 veins. In mining, the player can mine ores of various metals, crystals, nuggets, ancient fossils, just to name a few.
On the stomp. Not ready yet. The spear is meant. I reckon it's this way. What a slog. in for a rumble. Stomping turf. Yeah. I reckon it's this way. Now this is all right.
Logging is about taking advantage of the trees that have the strongest and deepest root systems. Those trees have roots that reach deep enough underground to access lakes of precious mana. Such trees are rare in the forests of Kvalat. These trees also fall into 3 tiers: Magic Tree, Old Magic Tree, and Ancient Magic Tree. The higher the tier of the Magic Tree, the higher the chance of getting larger and more precious resources. From trees, we can get magic wood, which has unique qualities of hardness, and campfires from such wood have special effects, like restoring strength and energy reserves to living beings. You can also get various types of resins, bark, feathers, and even honey.
What a marathon. Talk about the good stuff.
If you pursue herbalism profession, you'll be collecting resources from large and dense Kvalat bushes. Such bushes are whole ecosystems that live by their own rules, and the older and larger the bush, the more valuable resources it may contain. Bushes also come in 3 tiers: thick bush, old bush, and ancient bush. The larger the bush, the more complex the life that flows within it, and accordingly, the more expensive and rare the resources it can yield. A lot of different useful resources can come from these bushes: herbs, plants, insects, berries, and many more.
Fuck you too. No, fuck you. Snowflake, literal.
Bulldozer.
Well, fuck you. Well, fuck you too. Fuck you. You motherfucker. Die, motherfucker, die.
You're a joke, buddy. Having me some of that. What a slog. I'll take that. I reckon it's this way. Getting the sweat on. Getting my steps in.
The specialist in butchery skillfully dissects animal carcasses, retrieving organs intact ready for crafting. But not all animal carcasses are suitable or of value. The creatures of Kavalat lead hard and brutal lives, so that often the organs and body parts retrieved have pathologies that render the components extracted unsuitable for use in craft machines. Animals may sustain injuries in the hunt that despoil the resources that they could have yielded. Those experienced in butchery, though, can identify those carcasses most suitable for butchering, and the most experienced are able to identify the bodies of animals that have grown in ideal natural conditions and may offer up the highest quality materials for collection. Carcasses come in the lower, middle, and prime categories. In the butchery profession, you are able to acquire bones, vertebrae, living blood, eyes, cartilage, and many other grisly resources from these animals. Usually the best veins are the hardest to find. But once again, you'll know that the effort has been worthwhile when a vein yields up the very rarest of resources, allowing you to craft the very best in-slot items. And of course, if you are outside the safe zone in the wasteland, don't get too relaxed.
Left, right.
You little snowflake. Go it.
Now we're
Here we go. Burn them. Just die already. Die, motherfucker. Just die already.
wait a minute.
Time to die, snowflake. Kill them. Come here and die, snowflake.
Look at the pointy end, buddy. Let's have a little look. I reckon it's this way. Getting me steps up.
Here we go.
of strife, my favorite.
The world of Kavalat is a tough place, especially outside the city walls and safe zones, out in the wastelands. Dangerous, yes, but also supremely profitable. You never know what will be waiting for you around the next corner. Rare loot or some terrifying new enemy. If you encounter an enemy camp, be sure you have what it takes to finish the job before you dive in. Maybe alone, picked off one by one, these guys would have been easy targets. But working in a group as they do, they present a serious threat, even to the most seasoned warriors.
I need to get moving. Yeah. Not ready.
Time to die, snowflake! Here we go!
It's not time yet. What time?
Die already! Just die already! Kill 'em all!
After a tough fight, it's best to rest for a bit and recover. Going out into the wastelands, roaming and looting, means you have to be prepared to fight at any time. But anything valuable you find is going to count for nothing if you can't bring it back in one piece. Therefore, a smart player checks their inventory often. A stockpile of painkillers and plenty of campfire kits. These things can make the difference between life and death.
Whoa, talk about the good stuff. Full steam ahead.
It is also equally important to note that resources, and items in general, are gathered in Corepunk not only from veins, trees, bushes, and carcasses.
That is for the big guy.
You can find resources, artifacts, and consumables, including very rare ones, in drops all over the world.
What's all this then?
Try searching corpses, breaking barrels and crates, ransacking abandoned houses, exploring points of interest, opening secret chests, killing mobs, etc. With any type of activity, you have an opportunity to receive loot and perhaps even skins. But of course, if we are talking about resources, it's much more profitable to do it through gathering.
What a slog. Onwards and upwards. I'll take that.
Let's talk about the crafting professions. Corepunk, as we said before, has 4 crafting professions: construction, alchemy, weaponsmithing, and mysticism. The crafting professions in Corepunk have their own unique sets of permanent upgrades that don't overlap with any of the other professions. There are minor exceptions in regard to some temporary buffs though. For instance, alchemy and mysticism can both produce temporary buffs and item upgrades.
I like it over there.
The attribute buffs a hero can gain from artifacts are unique to those artifacts. You cannot get these parameters permanently anywhere else, while weaponsmith characteristics and upgrades are only unique to weaponsmithing, no exceptions. In this way, you cannot permanently stack attack power or spell power in all systems at once. Limited time buffs are not taken into account though. Every crafting profession has its own unique bonus that affects the hero's gameplay. We will tell you about them a little bit later. When the hero reaches level 40, all profession bonuses are only active if the player has achieved 100% efficiency in the given profession.
Onwards and upwards. Crack skulls? I like it over here. Anything for me? Stomping turf. Now this is all right. What a marathon. What do we have here? Big guy on the move. What's all this then? What a slog. You little wimp. Let's have a little look. Got to get moving.
Next, a little bit about itemization. Most items in the game have 4 grades: common, uncommon, rare, and epic. However, there are also legendary items out there, but they are extremely rare. Oh yes, indeed. Items are divided into tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, and so on. Items are also divided into 2 kinds: bind on pickup, and bind on equip. This does not apply to consumables. Bind on pickup items cannot be exchanged between players, but bind on equip items, if they have not yet been used, can be exchanged without restrictions. Items in Corepunk have a gear score calculated depending on that item's power. The scaling and characteristic values, as well as the chances of triggering effects on items, randomly roll within their set values. Items in the game don't break, and they have no durability rating. During crafting, the player always has an opportunity to craft a higher quality item, up to epic. As you would expect, items become stronger as their grade increases, with different types of items having different kinds of buffs. For example, artifacts have an additional characteristic added to the secondary basket as their grade increases, while weapons have an additional upgrade slot added as their grade increases. Chips and runes with a higher grade have their effect scaling increased, and alchemy consumables can be crafted with a quantity exceeding 1. As an item tier increases, it expands the upper limits within which the effect values can roll too.
What is it, civilian?
What is this place?
Forest lands of Elan. Some newcomers fell under the wrong impression that crimes are easily committed in villages like this. But I have bad news for them. It's not.
Who are you?
You're talking to the chief security officer of this village and its surrounding areas. If you witness a crime, you need to report it immediately. I serve to maintain law and order in the areas under my supervision.
Forge a path.
Let's move on to crafting. Crafting items is simple. In Corepunk, almost all items are crafted using the same simple principle. A Tier 1 item is crafted first, from looted resources. In order to craft Tier 2 or higher items, the player needs to use items of the previous tier as resources, plus additional rarer resources that a Tier 2 recipe requires. But items used for crafting must be uncommon. To start crafting, you need to be at the appropriate profession workbench, open the crafting menu, have a recipe for the required item, and also have the required amount of resources. As soon as you start crafting an item, the crafting bar will appear in the UI window below, just as with the gathering professions. In the process of crafting, the player always has a chance to craft an item of better quality than the recipe generates by default, or in the case of alchemy, a chance to generate more than one of whatever consumable you're concocting. Just like with the gathering professions, there are special bonuses in the crafting professions as your mastery levels up. In contrast to the gathering professions though, where the bonuses are shared between all professions, every crafting profession has its own unique set of bonuses that affect the hero's gameplay. That said, there are several ways to craft one and the same item. To craft certain items with a higher gear score, you will require the maximum level of profession efficiency. Some items can be crafted without a workbench, such as campfire or roll a joint. Special items will require the player to find a specialized rare workbench to craft them.
Full steam ahead. Take loot. Getting a sweat on. Yeah. What a slog.
Well, it's about time we looked at the crafting professions themselves. Here's the construction profession. This is all about crafting artifacts, items that are inserted into the active panel on the hero's screen. Artifacts have two baskets of characteristics, primary and secondary. The primary artifact basket carries basic characteristics in the game, such as attack power, spell power, health, mana, armor, magic resist, physical crit chance, and magical crit chance. The secondary basket carries a set of characteristics that include such parameters as cooldown reduction, buff duration, vision radius, increased area effects, increased control duration, tenacity, health regeneration, mana regeneration, and many more. As the item quality increases, characteristics are added to the secondary basket. A Tier 1 artifact has one basic characteristic in the primary basket. The player can create Tier 2 artifacts, combining these characteristics with each other in any variation. And when creating a Tier 3 artifact, it is possible to combine 3 characteristics with each other in any variation. It is important to note that if the player uses artifacts of the previous tier, rare or higher when crafting, they will receive additional characteristics in the secondary basket. As the construction profession levels up, you receive a bonus for using artifacts. For example, the player will get plus 5% for using artifacts at level 2 and plus 10% at level 3. It's also worth remembering that the bonus does not affect the crafting of an item, but rather the use of the item by the player, i.e. the characteristics of the item itself don't change.
Now this is all right. On the march. I'll take that.
Yes, this one. Big bad one. No.
Forge a path.
Weaponsmithing is where the player crafts weapons and bioorganic chips, which are essentially weapon upgrades. Weapons in the game have fixed stats: damage per second, DPS, weapon damage, and attack speed. As the weapon tier increases, it expands the limits within which these characteristics can be rolled. Weapons in Corepunk can be upgraded. It's through weapon upgrades that the most powerful weapons in the game can be acquired. As the grade increases, a weapon receives upgrade slots. The higher the quality of a weapon is, the more upgrade slots it has. Chips can be inserted into these slots. Every slot has its own bonuses that are rolled at random when you receive the weapon. To receive a slot bonus, the slot and the chip that is inserted must have the same icons. Chips can come in 2 variations. An advanced chip is inserted into an advanced slot, and a standard upgrade chip is inserted into a standard slot. Advanced chips have effects on weapons that are unique for this system, and can be triggered when dealing damage to an enemy. Every chip has either magic or physical effects. Standard upgrade chips, however, give an increase in stats, such as attack speed, haste, weapon damage, spell power, physical crit power, magical crit power, armor penetration, and magic penetration. As mentioned previously, stats like these are unique for this system and cannot be permanently stacked anywhere else. Crafting weapons and their upgrades follows the same logic as with the construction profession, and the other crafting professions in fact. So once again, to create a higher tier item, you must have 2 uncommon items of the previous tier. If the player uses higher quality items, rare or epic items for crafting, the weapon they will receive will have extra slots, and the advanced chip will have extra effects too. It's time to look at an advanced chip and its effects. The Execute Advanced chip will be used as an example. So here we took the best quality item that was crafted from 2 epic chips of the previous Tier 1. Here you can see all the possible effects. There is a mark on the chip that defines the effect of the chip. An advanced chip can be inserted into a slot with any mark and it will work, but you won't get any slot bonus. In order to receive a slot bonus, it's important that the slot has the same mark as the chip. So, as you can see, this advanced chip has a proc chance and a proc condition. So let's look at what the effects could be on this particular chip. Its main effect is that it gives you a chance to execute an enemy. The first additional effect, if the target dies, you will heal for 50% of the killing damage, appears if the chip has been crafted from 2 rare Tier 1 chips. The second additional effect is executes at 25%, improves the proc condition, and appears if the chip has been crafted from 2 epic Tier 1 advanced chips. Advanced chips have a limited number of charges. Each time the effect is triggered, 1 charge is removed. The player can recharge an advanced chip in the inlay window. It's a good idea to carry extra charges with you before an important foray into the world, and just in general. Time to consider profession bonuses. In weaponsmithing, as you move up to 3 mastery levels, you'll see improvements in weapon efficiency. Time to give you the lowdown on the synthesis machine. This impressive device is needed to craft items beyond standard recipes, or to craft without a recipe. If the items used as ingredients are of a higher quality than those specified in a given recipe, the synthesis machine will produce for you an item that has additional bonuses.
Storage bot to your service.
How are you?
I feel very safe here. Got it? Safe. Because every item you give me is guaranteed to be safe until your return.
What is this place?
These are the lands of the Kingdom of Elan. And these are pretty dangerous lands outside the safety of the town. But don't worry. Everything you leave with me will be safe.
Who are you?
I am StorageBot Plus by Liebani and Royal Bank. We offer our clients the best storage options. The experience of our customers is our first priority. StorageBot to your service.
The synthesis machine can also improve the quality of items you already have, change their characteristics, reroll their stats, and even alter an item's visuals, to name just a few of its other functions. The synthesis machine has 2 disadvantages though. The first one is that it's expensive to use, and for some operations, requires consumables that may be very rare. And the second one is that it's not fully implemented yet, so we can't show you how it works right now. You will see it in the beta, and will be able to try it out yourself. Skins play a big part in how your hero looks, though they are purely cosmetic and don't change your hero's stats. The synthesis machine can be used to upgrade the skins you've got. To do that, you need upgrade kits, another rare resource in the game. First, you put your lower grade skin item into the synthesis machine, before adding some upgrade kits. At this point, if you want, you have the option to throw some valuable resources into the mix. Then if you're lucky and get the combination of resources, as well as their respective quantities right, not only will you get a higher grade skin, but you will also end up with a skin made of different materials, giving it a distinctive visual appearance. Usually you can wear up to 6 skin items at once: bodysuit or underwear, lower body, upper body, gloves, and shoes. Some skin items may take 2 or more slots at once, depending on their structure and design. You can combine skin items from different skin sets too, to achieve exactly the look you're going for. There's literally millions of different combinations. You're free to express yourself. And this is just one of the many possibilities that the synthesis machine opens up to you.
Stomping turf. Stomping turf.
Storage bot to your...
I need to get...
Yes?
How are you?
I'm kind of busy here with my job, okay? Keeping all those Lethanian officials happy with my reports on you Outworlders.
What is this place?
Yeah, I think that too. Real nice place. Just keep your distance, alright?
Who are you?
Sorry, what? I can't hear you in this suit. The toilet is over there. Yes? Another virus spreader from the outside needs a medical certificate. Well, I couldn't care less about what flus or plagues you brought here from your world, but others do. If you want to stay here, you have to get the shot. And I'm not going to make the vaccine anytime soon, so you'll have to craft it yourself. Here's the recipe. Craft the vaccine. You can use my crafting table. The ingredients are outside of town. Inject yourself, then speak to me if you're still able. Good luck.
Sure.
You know where to find me.
Going for a mosey.
Yes? Yeah? Found the plants?
No.
Gee, you Outworlders are the worst. Alright, take the ingredients from my stash. They're in the chest right there. Speak to me when you've made the vaccine and taken the shot.
Lovely.
Yes? Yeah? Found the plants?
No.
Listen, stop bothering me. I saw you opening my chest. Stop fooling around. Just make the vaccine and take the damn shot. I don't have time for this.
Full steam ahead. Have a good feeling about this.
In alchemy, everything is both simple and interesting. You'll get to craft all kinds of consumables that give temporary buffs. You'll be making medicines, vaccines, and ointments, as well as rolling joints and doing a whole lot else. During crafting, the alchemy master doesn't have to contend with quality procs and worry about their impact, because these are consumable items and so don't have different quality grades. When crafting alchemy consumables though, the player can get a proc that might enable them to make 2 or 3 consumables at once instead of 1. Also, every consumable has a limited duration on its buff, and the player will have to use a lot more consumables in the next tier of crafting to increase this duration. The reward will be a long-lasting buff that will come in handy when traveling through the wildlands of Kvalat. In Corepunk, the player can have several alchemy buffs at the same time, and the number of buffs that can take effect simultaneously depends on the profession level. With each new mastery level, the number of alchemy buffs used simultaneously will increase. A player who is focused on alchemy will feel more comfortable when exploring the most difficult and harsh locations of the wildlands.
Yes? All vaccinated? Let me look at you. Red eyeballs, dry lips, swelling limbs. Yep, worked perfectly. Here's your certificate. Now get the hell out of here already.
Yes.
Yeah, bye. Ta-ta.
Full steam ahead.
Now, let's look at mysticism. This profession is all about crafting runes. Runes are upgrades for artifacts. Runes enable the player to upgrade artifacts by placing seals on them. Seals add special mechanics to player gameplay, and in some cases, can be a great addition to a certain build or playstyle. Runes are thus another important layer of progression and hero building gameplay in the overall system. The player can upgrade items without restrictions, but the number of artifacts with rune effects that they can carry at the same time is limited. The principle of rune effects is mechanically in many respects similar to how advanced chips work on weapons. But unlike advanced chips, runes have very different proc conditions. They are more permanent and more predictable. Let's look at the Hedgehog rune as an example. The main effect of this rune is when struck by an attack, deal physical damage to the attacker. As the rune grade increases, so does the effect scaling. And as the tier increases, it expands, as with chips, the limits within which the effect values can be rolled. Just as in the example with the advanced chip, we have 2 additional effects. Slows enemy by 10% for 1 second appears on a rune if it was made from rare runes of the previous tier. And the second additional effect, reduces enemy attack speed by 15% for 3 seconds, is added if epic tier 1 runes were used during rune crafting. The bonus of the mysticism profession is that the higher the mastery level is, the more equipped rune artifacts the player can use. Thank you for watching. Sign up for beta at corepunk.com.